Hello, folks. I got an interesting question the other day on my Instagram. If you want to follow me on Instagram, the link for that is there. I do Q&As there sometimes. And the question I got was, do you think we ever truly loved them, or were we just finally loving ourselves? I find this to be an interesting question for multiple reasons. The question of whether our love for them was ever authentic is interesting. Usually people say, did the narcissist ever really love me? But this person is asking, did we ever really love them? Well, my answer to that would be a question. What do you mean by them? What do you know of them? What do you know of their authentic self? Love, in a certain sense, in order to be authentic, must, I would think, imply a rare, delicate, and vulnerable connection between two authentic selves. If there is two people who are posturing present, you could have emotional attachment, you could have lust, you could have limerence, you can even have obsession. But can you have love? No, I don't think there is any love without intimacy. And I don't think you can have intimacy without vulnerability. And I don't think you can afford to be vulnerable unless you are feeling safe. And more than likely, no matter what happened in the relationship, you probably never truly felt safe enough to be your authentic self inside of a narcissistically abusive relationship. So my answer to this question is probably no. You didn't really love them. You don't know them. Even to this day, you don't really know them. There might not be a them there. There might just be this series of masks that they put on and drop, depending on the context, depending on their ambitions, depending on their objectives in that moment, and what it is they're trying to achieve and who it is they're trying to fool. This is a kind of a con, and love is the currency of the con, and they are the con artists. They harvest love. They harvest love as a very high form of attention, as a very refined high grade of narcissistic supply. If that love could be corrupted, could be warped, could be traumatized, tortured, and twisted into obsession, then that's even more narcissistic supply for them, and they would delight in that. So no, I don't believe we ever really loved them. I don't think that you are permitted to be your authentic self inside of a narcissistically abusive relationship. And I don't think they ever showed up as their authentic selves inside of the narcissistically abusive relationship. What happens inside of a narcissistic relationship, and what makes it so difficult to recover from, is we adapt. We change to meet the needs of the situation. That's where the real damage is. It's hurtful if somebody insults you, if somebody inflicts a moral injury upon you. It's hurtful to be heartbroken. It's hurtful to be disappointed in love. Inside of perfectly healthy, normal relationships, there's plenty of pain to be found. But the real difficulty in recovery is that we adapt to them. We adapt to their coordinates. The reason why you can never show up as your authentic self inside of a narcissistically abusive relationship is because at the deepest, most intuitive, unconscious levels of yourself, you know you are not safe to do that. My friend and work colleague, Mr. Mark Vicente, taught me about the concept from cult psychology of adopting a cult persona, where you instinctively, non-consciously get the idea that the right way to handle surviving in this strange cult-like environment is to pretend to be somebody else. And God knows, for the duration of narcissistic abuse or cult abuse, it might not be such a maladaptive response. The problem is, in order to do that, is that you're role-playing as somebody else in an inauthentic and frankly narcissistic way. You now have a cult persona. You now have a narcissistic abusive relationship persona. That's not you. They're not being them. You're not being you. And so no, there's no intimacy. There's no vulnerability. And therefore, there's no love. Hello, folks. I just want to tell you about a tool that we've developed that will help you to track your emotions and improve your emotional literacy. It's called the mood map. What it allows you to do is to record your daily emotions and daily events that are associated with those emotions, allowing you to tie your emotions to things that are happening in the real world so that you can have a more explicit, literal look at what it is you're feeling and what's coming up for you on a daily basis. The mood map will give you feedback in the form of graphs that let you know when there are spikes or drops in your emotional state, if there are any spikes in your positive emotional states, and what you would associate that with in the external world, whether there are any spikes in your negative emotional state, and what events that has been associated with in the real world. There is also a forum and a community area where you can chat to other people who are also using the mood map, and you can get advice and help from the coaches there. Ladies and gents, if you're interested in finding out more about the mood map, please hit this link here. Thank you.